Hello everyone and welcome to Maths Easy. This is my predicted paper for the calculator exam on the 4th of June 2025. It's designed to reflect the most likely questions based on the non-calculator paper you sat on the 15th of May. Here's how to get the most out of this video. Pause at each question and try it yourself. Then press play to check the model answer and mark your work as you go. Just a quick reminder, this is a prediction, not a guarantee. Be sure to revise the entire syllabus and practice the official past papers too. Let's get started. Question number 1. Pause the video and give it a try. When you're ready for the answer, press play. Find the highest common factor of 84, 108 and 132. So all you need to do is start getting prime factors of each number. So 84 divided by 2 gives me 42. 42 divided by 2 gives me 21. Now, I cannot divide by 2 anymore because I'm going to get a decimal, but I can divide by 3. And that gives me 7. They are both prime numbers. Now, when I get to that stage, I'm going to stop. So let's do the same thing for 108. Divide by 2 gives me 54. I can still divide by 2, gives me 27. Now I have to divide by 3, gives me 9. 9 is 3 times 3, so that it's a prime number, so I can stop. Let's do the same thing for 132, like this. Now, in most years, they have asked questions about finding the highest common factor or sometimes LCM of 2 numbers, but sometimes they've checked 3 numbers as well. So let's do this one. So let's write 84 is equal to 2237. 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. Let's write the other two as well, like that. Now, we are going to find the highest common factor. So as the word implies, it's a common thing for all. You can clearly see this 2 here is common. So let's take 2 to represent that. And I can take another 2 from all 3. So I'm going to put another 2 here. And I can take 3. So put that one here. But that's all I can do. I don't have any other number that is common for all 3. So I'm just going to multiply these 3 numbers. Now 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3, 12. That is the highest common factor of the 3 numbers. Here's the second question. Give it a try and continue the video when you are ready to check the answer. Emily travels from Liverpool to Leeds at an average speed of 60 miles per hour. Now that is her speed. The journey takes her 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm going to convert the time into just hours. So that will be 2.5 hours because I know 30 minutes is 0.5 hours. Jacob makes the same journey in 2 hours and 50 minutes. So that will be 2 hours plus. Now, how do I convert minutes to hours? All I need to do is divide by 60. So let's do this. 50 divided by 60. That is 2 and 5/6 of an hour. Now, because this is a calculator paper, I can get the decimal, but I'd rather leave it like that for now. Work out Jacob's average speed for the journey. Now, we know Jacob's time, but we don't know Jacob's distance. Because remember, speed is equal to distance over time. But we also know that Jacob makes the same journey. So if I can use the equation speed equals distance over time for Emily and get the distance and use it for Jacob, I should be able to get my answer. Let's do that. For Emily, her speed is 60 miles per hour is equal to distance we don't know, and the time is 2.5. Now this division 2.5 becomes multiplication 2.5. 60 times 2.5 is your distance. Let's put this in the calculator. So we can see it's 150 miles. Now we are going to do the same calculation for Jacob. Speed, we don't know. Distance traveled by Jacob is the same, so it's 150 divided by Jacob's time. We already figured it out earlier, 2 and 5/6. So all you need to do is just put this exactly like this in the calculator. And the final answer is 52.9411 ... The question does not say how many decimal places to round. I'd rather do to one decimal place, or even two I can do. There's no right or wrong way here as long as the question has not specified it. So let's call it 52.9. Look at the units, miles per hour. Second part. If Jacob took different roads than Emily, how could this affect your answer to part A? If he took different roads, that means the distance could be different. So let's write this down. Then the distance traveled by Jacob is not 150 miles, and his average speed will be different to 52.9 miles per hour. Now, we cannot make any assumptions whether it is more than 150 or less than 150 because we don't know. So you need to cater for both. So you need to say, all we can say is it will be different. Or you can say, if the distance was less than 150 miles, his speed is slower. Or if the distance was greater than 150, the speed will be, the answer to part A will be higher. But for 1 mark, if you just say it's different, that's sufficient. Question number 3. Give it a try, and I'll do this in a minute. Out of 60 people surveyed, okay, so we know the total number of people. So the universal set here is 60. 34 have a cat, 28 have a dog, 10 have neither. Okay, so I know this outside number here is 10. Now, these 3 regions should add up to 60 take away 10, 50. However, if I take the cat and dog and just add those 2 up, I get 34 add 28, 62. Oh, why is that? That's because there's an overlap. So we need to find the overlap to get the correct numbers. Now, we know that it's supposed to be 50 because 60 take away 10, 50. So what you can do is 62 take away 50 gives you 12. Now this is the overlap. Now we can write 12 here. But we know 34 people have a cat altogether, but 12 people are in the common region. So if I do 34 take away 12, I get 22. So that's a number of people in this region. Now see, 22 add 12 gives me 34. Similarly, to find the number of people who have just a dog, 28 take away 12 and I get 16. Now if you check all the numbers, 22 add 12 is 34. 34 add 16 is 50. 50 add this 10 gives you 60. Question number 4. In a sale, the normal price of a laptop is reduced by 25%. So it was 100% and the reduction is 25%. So you actually pay 75%. The sale price of the laptop is 540. Oh, so what that means is 75% is 540 pounds. What's the question? Work out the normal price. Oh, so the question is asking what is your 100%? Now, if I know 75% is this one, I can get to 1% by dividing both sides by 75. This is a calculator paper, so I can simply do it like this. In a non-calculator paper, it's better to go to 25% and by dividing it by 3 and then multiplying by 4. But let's just do it in a normal calculator way. 540 divided by 75 gives me 7.2. Now, I need to get to 100%. All you need to do is multiply this one by 100 and do exactly the same to this one. So my answer is 720. The normal price is 720 pounds. Here's question number 5. Sophie is measuring the weight of pumpkins in her garden. And this is in kilograms, so technically this should be mass, but okay. Estimate the mean weight. Now, to get the mean weight here, I need to have 2 more columns. Now, we have weight from 2 to 4, so we need to get the midpoint of these masses. So 2 and 4, midpoint is 3. So you can just find the midpoint or do 2 add 4 is 6, half of 6 is 3. 6 add 4, 10, half of 10, 5, that's the midpoint. That's the midpoint here, 7, and midpoint is 9, 10, and that will be 11. Now, this column we are going to multiply midpoint by the frequency. So 6 times 3 is 18. 12 times 5 is 60, like this. Now, we need to get the sum of this column and also the sum of frequencies. So, this is 444 and all of these numbers add up to 60. Estimate the mean weight. To get the estimated weight, all we need to do is divide 444 by 60. Get 7.4 kilograms. Part B. Explain why your answer to part A is an estimate. Now, here all we know is that there are 6 pumpkins that are between 2 to 4. It could be anything between 2 to 4. But we assumed it to be 3. Is that exactly correct? No. We did the same for all of the others. 4 to 6. We know there are 12 between 4 and 6. But we assumed them to be 5, but that's not exactly true. So we can say the masses are grouped. We don't know the exact mass of pumpkins. We can also say we took the midpoint of each group as the mass. Question number 6. Emily owns a cafe. One week, she recorded the number of customers served each day. From Monday to Friday, the mean number of customers per day was 68. So we know from Monday to Friday, she had 68 customers per day. So the total number of customers would be 68 multiplied by 5, which is 340. For the whole week, mean number of customers per day was 85. So when you say whole week, that's including Saturday and Sunday. So for the whole week, it's 85 per day. So obviously 85, you need to multiply it by 7. That's 595. Now, from these two numbers, obviously, I can work out the number of people who came on Saturday and Sunday. All I need to do is 595 take away 340. So I know these 2 days, that's 255. On Saturday, there were 142. Okay. On Saturday, there were 142. Work out the number of customers served on Sunday. Oh, that's very easy. All we need to do is 255 take away 142, and the answer is 113. Here's the 7th question. Amina, Ben, and Chloe share some money in the ratio 4:7:5. So Amina, Ben, Chloe, 4 parts for Amina, 7 parts for Ben, and Chloe gets 5 parts. The difference between the amount of money that Ben receives and the amount of money that Chloe receives is 96 euros. Okay, now let's see what happens here. Now Ben gets 7 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. Whereas Chloe gets only 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now when you compare these two, you can clearly see that Ben gets 2 parts extra. 2 parts extra when compared to Chloe. Now, Ben gets 96 euros. Oh, so these 2 parts must be the 96 euros. Obviously, then one part must be half of 96, which is 48 euros. Now, let's look at the question. Work out the amount of money that Amina receives. Now, Amina gets how many parts? She gets 4 parts, but we know one part is 48 euros. Just multiply it by 4. So you get the answer. She gets 192 euros. Question number 8. A new laptop costs £850. The value of the laptop decreases at a rate of 6% per year. Okay, so we need to find the multiplier in a question like that. 100% take away 6% gives you 94%, which is 94 out of 100 as a fraction. As a decimal, my multiplier is 0.94. Work out the value of the laptop at the end of 2 years. So all we need to do is 850 multiplied by the multiplier, and you need to raise it to the power of number of years. So it's 2 years here, so you put it here. So all you need to do is 850 multiplied by 0.94 squared in your calculator, and you get the final answer as £751 and 6 pence. Question number 9. The graph of the equation y is equal to 2x add 1 is drawn on the grid below. Yeah, we can see that. Another line is drawn on the same grid. Y is equal to negative x add 4. Plot the graph of y equals negative x add 4 on the grid. Now to do that, I need some x values and I need a few y values. Now you can clearly see it goes from negative 2 to positive 3. So let's get negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1 and 2. And all I need to do is substitute and find my values of y for each one. Now let's do that. When x is 0, I would start with 0, makes it easier. Y is equal to negative sine 0 add 4. That's just 4. Let's put x is equal to 1. So put 1 here. Y is equal to negative 1 add 4. That's 3. Let's put x equals 2 here. So you get y is equal to negative 2 add 4. That will be 2. So let's put 2 here. I can see the pattern now, but let's check one more. Let's put negative 1. Y is equal to negative here and negative 1, because this is negative, add 4. Now remember, when you have two negatives, it's positive. 1 add 4 is 5. Now you can see why I started with 0 and kind of went to the positive side, because it's easier. Now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 obviously. Let's plot this now. Negative 2, 6 is here. Negative 1, 5 is here. 0, 4 is here. I can see where this is going. Let's get the last one. 2, 2 is here. I can get the other one as well. 1, 3. Here are the points. Now let's join the points. Now, you get a nice straight line when you join the points. Now in the exam, make sure that you show your plot points clearly. Now I've seen some students just put like a tiny dot and then draw the line above it so you can't really see. So it's a good idea to show the plot points because the examiner can see that you've done it correctly. That's first part. Second one, use the graph to find the solution to the simultaneous equations. Now, y equals 2x add 1 is this one. Y is equal to negative x add 4 is what we just did. The only common point for both graphs is where they overlap, they cross over. So all we need to do is just go down, and the x value here is 1. So I know x is equal to 1. About the y value, go to the left here, and I can see it is 3. Y is equal to 3. Question number 10. Simplify the following expression. Give your answer with positive indices. Now, I can divide 8 by 4, and I know the answer at the top, the number is 2. So let's see what I have now. 2, a to the power of 5, b to the power of negative 2, divided by a to the power of negative 1, b cubed. Now, the question particularly says to get the answer with positive indices. So, let's simplify the a's. When I divide, you need to take away the powers. So, let's do this one. 2 a to the power of 5, take away negative 1. b to the power of negative 2 over b cubed. Guys, we can do this in one step if some of you know how to do it straight away, but I'm just breaking it down in the simplest possible way. Now, here we can see 5 take away negative 1. When you have two negative signs next to each other, that becomes add. So I know that I get 2a to the power of 5 add 1 is 6. Now, let's see what to do with these two. The question is asking for positive indices. So if I bring this 3 to the top and take away, I'm going to end up with negative 5. That's not correct because the question is not asking that. So what I need to do is bring this b to the power of negative 2 down. Now remember the rule, x to the power of negative a becomes 1 over x to the power of a. So this is one of the basic index rules. So let's bring this b to the power of negative 2 down. I have b cubed already multiplied by b squared. Now, these two powers can be added up. 2a to the power of 6 divided by b to the power of 3 add 2. 5 is my final answer for 3 marks. Question number 11. Pause the video and give this a try. When you are ready, press play. In questions like this, it's usually beneficial to quickly draw a rough sketch of the situation. Point A has coordinates 2k and 5. So 10 here, 3k here. So here's your point B. The midpoint of the line segment AB is 7, 5.5. Here's the line segment and the midpoint is here. So it's 7. Here, your x value and the y value is 5.5. Find the value of k. This question actually is easier than it looks. So here's what you do. Now we know this 7 is the midpoint. So 7 to 10, the gap is 3. So obviously, this gap should also be 3. Now 7 take away 3, this value is 4. So I know 2k is equal to 4. Divide both sides by 2. Easily, you can see the answer for k is 2. Question number 12. Make u the subject of the formula. This one is a slightly tricky question, but let's do this one. So I need to make u the subject. Let's move this to the other side. So what do we have? 1 over u is equal to 1 over f, take away 1 over v. Now, before I explain this, let me give you a situation. Let's say you had a question like 1/3 take away 1/5. So what would you do? You'd obviously get the common denominator by multiplying these two by 5 and these two by 3. Now you do exactly the same thing. Here, we got f here, multiply these two by v, multiply these two by f. Now, 1 over u is equal to, common denominator is VF or FV, same thing. The top, it's V take away F. Now, 1 over U is this, but my question is to make U the subject so you can take the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 over U is U. The reciprocal of this is my answer, VF over V take away F. There are other ways of doing this, but I think this is a relatively simple way of doing it. Question number 13. Expand and simplify. Let's do this one. You can multiply the first two and then multiply by the third one, or you can do the second and third first and then multiply it by the first one, which I usually prefer. So let's do this one. X add 2, leave it as it is. Let's multiply these two. X times x, x squared. X times 5, 5x. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. Now you can see obviously 5x and 3x, negative 3x are like terms. Let's combine them. X add 2, x squared. 5x take away 3x is obviously 2x, take away 15. Now, with each term, you need to multiply the second one. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 15, negative 15x. Let's multiply by the 2. 2 times x squared, 2x squared. 2 times 2x, 4x. And the last number is negative 30. Now, let's collect the like terms. Now I can see this 2x squared and this 2x squared are like terms. Also, I can see negative 15x and add 4x, also like terms. I don't have any other like terms for these. So, x cubed is the cubic term. 2x squared plus 2x squared is 4x squared. Negative 15x add 4x is negative 11x. And you have the take away 30 at the very end. So here is my final answer. Question number 14. Give this a try. A password contains 2 letters followed by 3 digits. So you can have letter 1 and letter 2. Then you have 3 digits. Each letter can be any of the 26 letters of the alphabet. Okay, so we have 26 options to choose for this one, and we have 26 options for this one. Each digit can be any number from 0 to 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's 10 options. 1 to 9 and 0. So I have 10 options here, 10 options here, 10 options here. Letters and digits can be repeated. Now that's why I have this. How many different passwords can be made? Remember the product rule, you need to multiply all of these. So all you need to do is take your calculator and you multiply 26 multiplied by 26 multiplied by 10 times 10 times 10. And the answer is 676,000 different passwords. Question number 15. A sector of a circle has radius r and the central angle 150. So this angle here is 150 degrees. This is r. The area of the sector is 125 pi over 3. Show that the radius is 10. Now the formula is area is theta divided by 360 multiplied by pi r square. Now let's substitute the values. 125 pi divided by 3 is equal to 150 degrees divided by 360 degrees multiplied by pi times r squared. Now you can clearly see you can cancel this pi with this pi. Just think that you divide both sides by pi. Now I need to get r squared first. So let's move the 360 to that side and 150 here. So you get 125 multiplied by 360 divided by 3 multiplied by 150. Put this in the calculator, you get r squared is equal to 100. R is equal to square root of 100. This is a length, so only consider the positive. Root 100, 10 centimeters. Second part. Work out the length of the arc. Okay, so what's the arc length L? The formula for arc length is theta divided by 360 times 2 pi r. So let's substitute the values. 150 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 times pi times r is 10. If you put this in the calculator and you get 25 pi over 3. That's the answer for part B. R is 10 plus the other R is 10 plus 25 pi over 3. Now it says to give the answer in the form A, pi and B. So A and B are numbers. Now this question does not say they are integers. So there are some questions where they say they are integers, whole numbers. This one does not. So the pi term first, that will be 25 over 3 pi plus 10 and 10 goes at the end, which is B. B is 20. Guys, before I go to the next question, I'm just going to take 15 seconds of your time. I put a lot into these videos to make revision easier for you. If that's been helpful, subscribing is the one way you can say thanks, and it's completely free. You don't have to, but it genuinely helps me keep this going. Thank you. Question number 16. Prove that the angle subtended by an arc at the center of a circle is twice the angle at the circumference. So we need to show that this is twice as big as this, which is one of the 7 circle theorems you need to know for GCSE. So let's start the proof. Now, the first step here is connecting the center O to point B. Now, we know OB, OC, and OA are all equal. Why? Because they are the radii of the same circle. Now, that makes ABO an isosceles triangle. Similarly, BOC is also an isosceles triangle. So, if this is X, base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal, so these two are the same. Now, this is, let's call it Y because that is a different angle, but this and this are the same. Why? Same reason. Now, if this is Y and this is Y, obviously this is 180 take away to Y. The reason is interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. Same reason here, 180 take away 2x is the size of this one. Now, let me write the details how you should write this in an exam up to this point. So, you can write like this. You can sometimes annotate on the diagram too. That's okay. Now, let's find the size of this angle AOC. Now, I can see this angle AOC and these two angles, all of them should add up to 360 because angles about a point add up to 360. Now, we can simplify this further. AOC is equal to 360 degrees on this side, 180 and this 180, they go to the other side and they both become negative. So negative 180, take away another 1. And this 2x negative 2x becomes plus 2x and the other one becomes plus 2y. Now you can clearly see 180 and these two negative 180s get cancelled out. AOC is equal to 2x add 2y. Now I can factorize the 2 outside and I get x add y. But what is x add y? X add y is ABC. So I can replace ABC here. So AOC is 2 times ABC. Question number 17. This is about inequality regions. Again, a very likely exam question you can get. The diagram shows a grid with axes from negative 5 to 5. On the grid, shade the region that satisfies all the following inequalities. Y is less than or equal to 3. Now, that should go through y is equal to 3, like this. Next one is y is more than x minus 2. To do that, we need to get y is equal to x take away 2 graph. So we need to take a few x values and y values. Let's just get 2 or 3 lines, 2 or 3 values really. So when x is 0, 0 take away 2 is negative 2. When x is 1, put 1 here, 1 take away 2 is negative 1. Let's put 2 here, 2 take away 2 is 0. Put 3 here for x here, 3 take away 2 is 1. So we have these points now. Let's plot them. 0, negative 2. So 0, negative 2 is here. 1, negative 1 is here. 2, 0 is here. 3, 1 is here. Now I can see they form a nice straight line. Let's join the points. So the line goes like this. Now remember, here we have y is more than, there's no equal sign. So we have to draw this as a dashed line rather than a solid line. So something like this. That's this one. The other one is x is more than or equal to negative 1. Now where is x equals negative 1? Here. So we have to go vertically down through negative 1. Like this. Now, where is the region R? So y is less than 3. So it should be below this line here. And y is more than x minus 2. So above this dashed line here. And x is more than negative 1. So to the right of this line here. Now you can clearly see is this region that we should call R. So this is the shaded region. Question number 18. An engineer is calculating the volume of a cylindrical metal rod. The radius is measured as 1.2000 meters, correct to the nearest 0.0001 meter. The height is given and to the accuracy. Calculate the lower bound and upper bound for the volume of the cylinder. Now the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. So give your answers in cubic meters. Now we need to get the radius and upper bound and lower bound. Now to get that, we know it's measured to the nearest 0.0001 meter. So you need to first divide this one by 2. So you get 0.00005. Now to get the upper bound, you add this value to this. So you get 1.2005. Now, when you take this away from this one, you get 1.19995. So that's the upper bound and lower bound for the radius. Let's do the same thing for the height. So the upper bound is 3.5005 and the lower bound is 3.4 0.9995. I need to find the upper and lower bound of the volume. Now, volume upper bound. Now, to get the upper bound, I need to get the maximum radius, which is the upper bound of radius here. And I need to get the maximum height, which is the upper bound of the height. So let's substitute those two values. So the calculator gives here 15.835172 ... Let's do the same thing for the lower bound. For the lower bound, I need to get the lowest radius, which is this one, and the lowest height, which is this one, and just substitute. So times by 1.19995 squared multiplied by 3.49995. So here I get 15.832081 ... Right. So that's in cubic meters. That's in cubic meters. Part B. Give your answer to part A to a suitable degree of accuracy. Now, this is an important thing. Many students kind of struggle with this. Sometimes I've seen this, so pay very strict attention to this one. So we are going to round this to one significant figure first, then two significant figures, then three significant figures, like that. Let's see. So 15.8 to one significant figure is 20. 15.83 to one significant figure, that's also 80. So they both agree. Let's do to two significant figures. Two significant figures, that's 16. That is also 60. So they both agree. No problem. Let's go to three significant figures. 15.83. So the 3 is less than 5. So that's 15.8. 15.83. Same thing again. So they agree to three significant figures as well. Now, if that happens, let's go one step further. Four significant figures. Now the fourth significant figure here, 15.835. Now because this is a 5, I'm going to add 1 to it. That's 15.84. Let's do the fourth significant figure here. Now, after the 3, it's a 2, so I don't add anything. That's 15.83. Now, these two do not agree. See, the last decimal value is different. So, you cannot go up to fourth significant figure, but you go to the maximum number of significant figures where they do agree, and that would be this one here. So, to present the final answer, we can say the volume is 15.8 cubic meters to three significant figures, as both upper and lower bounds agree. Question number 90. Two boats A and B leave a harbor at the same time. Boat A travels 9.5 kilometers on a bearing of 40 degrees. Let's draw a rough sketch of this one. So here's the path of boat A. It's 9.5 kilometers at a bearing of 40 degrees. So from the north, the angle here is 40. So this is where the boat A goes. Boat B travels 7.2 kilometers on a bearing of 120. So this is 7.2 kilometers. Now the bearing is 120. Now remember, the bearing we measure from the north. So this is the north. So already 40 here. So obviously the remaining angle must be 80 degrees here. Why? Because 80 and 40 gives you 120 from the north. Calculate the distance between the boats. So the question is asking about the length of this line, red line, call it D. Now, we can obviously see this is to do with cosine rule. So, this is your angle A. This is your lowercase a, lowercase b, and c. So, let's write the formula. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now, let's substitute. Your A is D. So, D squared is equal to b squared. B is 9.5 kilometers, so 9.5 squared, plus C is 7.2 squared minus 2 times 9.5 times 7.2 times cos. The angle here is 80 degrees. Now to get D, all I need to do is square root this whole thing. So I'm going to type the square root sign and all of this. So here I get 10.87818 ... Now, then I look at the question, it clearly says to give to 3 significant figures. So then I do the rounding here. Now, in your exam, it's a good practice to write the long answer you get here and then do the rounding. That way, if you made a mistake when you're rounding, you're still going to get some marks up to that point. But imagine if you calculate it off the calculator face and you write the wrong answer down, there is no evidence for the examiner to see that you actually did this correctly up to this point. So let's do this rounding here. So this is 7. Obviously, I need to add 1 to this one. So my answer is 10.9 kilometers. Part B. Work out the bearing of board A from board B, giving your answer to 1 decimal place. Now this one is a slightly tricky question and we need to draw a more realistic and a cleaner diagram to do this. Now, here are the points of the harbor. This is ship A and this one is B. Now let's mark the angles we know. We know this one here is 40 degrees. And this one here is 80 degrees. Now, this length here is 7.2 kilometers. This is 10.878 kilometers. And this one here is 9.5 kilometers. Now, let's think about alternate angles. You can see this angle here should be the same as this angle here. So that will be 40 degrees. Now, my question is to find the bearing of board A from B. Now, imagine you go and stand on board B and you're looking at your note here and you need to see what this angle is. If you can work this out, that is your answer. Now, to do that, we need to get this tiny angle here. Let's call this theta. Now, I can see this angle here and this angle here are also equal. 10.878 over sine 80 is equal to 7.2 divided by sine, let's call this one y, sine y. And it's easy to find sine y. Sine y is, I need to move this to that side and this to that side and bring sine y to the left hand side. So when I put this in the calculator using inverse sine, I got y is equal to 40.679. Let's call it 68. Right. Now, I know this angle here is 40. Y is 40.68. So this yellow angle is a really small one. 40.68 degrees, take away 40, that is 0.68 degrees. It's a very small angle. Now, how do I find the bearing? So the bearing is This angle I just highlighted in purple. So to find it, all you need to do is 360 degrees take away 0.68 degrees. So you get 359.32. The question says to give it to one decimal place. So it's 359.3 degrees. So which suggests that B is almost directly under A, but there's a tiny shift to the right, which gives this sort of a big bearing. Good question. Here's the last question. Pause the video and give it a try. When you're ready, you can press play. A solid is made by joining a cone to the top of a hemisphere. Now, these type of questions are very common. So you have a cone and it's connected to a hemisphere like this. The radius of them is 6 centimeters and the height of the cone is 12. So this one here is 12. Show that the total volume is approximately 905. Now, to find the total volume, I need to find the volume of the cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared is 6 squared times pi 12. Then I need to find the volume of the hemisphere. Now, volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Volume of a hemisphere is 4/3 pi times 6 cubed, but I have to half it because it's a hemisphere. Now, to get the total volume, what do I need to do? I need to add these two in my calculator. Let's see what you get. So on the calculator, I get 288 pi. When I press the SD button, that gives me 904.778 ... which is approximately, to the nearest whole number, 905 cubic centimeters. Part B. The solid is melted and used to make identical metal cubes with a side length of 2.5 centimeters. So each cube has a volume of 2.5 multiplied by itself 3 times, or 2.5 cubed. Length times width times height, centimeter cubed. Work out how many full cubes can be made. So all I need to do is, I know the volume is, I got 288 pi on my calculator, so I'm just going to use it as it is. So all I need to do is 288 pi. I'm going to divide it by 2.5 cubed, which is this one here. So let's do this on the calculator, and it gives me 57.905 ... Now, I know it's very close to 58, but it's 57 point something. So you cannot make 58 cubes. There'll be a tiny bit less for the last one. So the total number of cubes will be only 57. 57 cubes you can make. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If this helped you even a little, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Good luck with your revision. You've got this.